Hi, it's Kyle Meredith, and welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith With, an audio interview series presented by WFPK, Independent Louisville, and Consequence of Sound. My guests today are Deen, Castronovo, and Doug Aldrich of the band The Dead Daisies. The hard rock collective have a new record on the way called Burn It Down. We got to talk about doing the record in Nashville and its old school rock sound, as they've talked about, as well as the new singles Resurrected and Rise Up. And I get them to tell some rock star stories of hanging out with Ozzy Osbourne and Bad English and Whitesnake and Dio. That's all coming up here. Kyle Meredith with The Dead Daisies.
Kyle! What's up, dude?
It's good to talk to you both. This is
good to be talking to you, my friend.
Congratulations on this new record with Burn It Down. This is some exciting stuff.
Well, yeah, dude. We had a blast making this record. Obviously, my first one with the Dead Daisies, and the chemistry and the vibe was just amazing. And I believe we come up with an amazing record this time. I mean, it's killer. Yeah. I love it.
And you guys did the sessions in Nashville, right?
Yeah, we did them at Marty Fredrickson's studio in Nashville, and it's just a great vibe there. You can set up and kind of rehearse, and once you get a vibe on a song, you can just throw it down and get it on tape. You know, it's a really productive place for us.
You know, you go into it, I read something, maybe it was a press release or something, you know, somebody said it's an old school rock record. I sort of wondered, you know, how does that work for you all with a collective like this? Is there an idea going into it, or do you just get in the room and jam it out and see what happens? How does it work?
We do everything as a band, and it's very much, you know, an equal thing where everyone's involved, invested into the ideas. And so, say, for example, I might have an idea for a riff or something, and then Dean would have an idea of where to take that, and then Marco would say, well, let's try it in this key, and then John would say, you know, oh, that's cool, we could put it, and it all kind of, it's like a real band, believe it or not. And then we how many songs do we have? Like 25 songs in the end, and then Marty Fredrickson, the producer, who is very instrumental in everything, the sound and the direction of this record. He produced us, and he brought out the best in us.
Now, Dean, you're the newest guy in this collective right here. You came in late last year, right?
Yeah, actually November. Doug had called me and asked me if I was available. I came, and I said, yeah, of course. And they flew me in to meet the band. And then 3 days later, I was in Nashville getting ready to record the record. So, yeah, it was really quick. But, yeah, my first one, I love it. Just love it.
And it's one of the most interesting thing about the Dead Daisies, too, because you know, I don't want to call it a revolving door because I always think that sounds wrong, although I don't mean it in a wrong way. But there have been so many different members over a lifetime of this band. How hard or difficult or easy is it to find a common thread when writing and record an album from album to album?
That's a great question. I mean, I think that the Dead Daisies kind of started off a little bit different than a lot of bands where you had a guy, we had David Lowy and the original singer, John Stevens, working on some songs, and then they decided, well, let's make a record. Who can we get? They just, you know, found some session guys, and then it's just taken a while to find the right pieces. But this lineup is, I will say, it's really exciting to work with these guys, especially with the energy that Dean brought in. You know, you never want anyone to leave, but if it's amicable and it's an amicable split, which it was, then that's cool. And then Dean came in and he lifted the whole thing up, you know, and we don't want to make the exact same record twice, so the direction of the songs was a little different. Having Dean's energy, you know, his sexy vibe on the skin, the way he, you know, strokes those skins.
Whoa!
And then, but I'll tell you the truth. It all comes down to Krabi because he's the thread. He's the, you know, the singer's it's all about the singer, really.
And going to the back catalog, I mean, you know, everybody sort of wants to usually put their own, you know, stamp on a song. Do you notice that the older songs from like the first record start to really change? Are you playing those live?
Yeah, we play a little bit from everything, and they do. I mean, you try and keep it as close as you can to the song, but you know, everyone has a certain style, the way that they play, and so it's inevitably going to have a little bit of a twist of this lineup, which is really strong.
Cool. And the songs we've heard so far, by the way, Resurrected and Rise Up, such powerful songs. Even just taking on those two titles right there, it seems like, you know, you're calling on something here.
Well, you know, I was talking to John a little bit about Resurrected, and I said, what were you thinking when you were writing that song? What was in your head? And he goes, you know, and he said, I kind of wrote it about me and you, Dean. It was kind of like, you know, John, with being in Motley Crue and all of that stuff, he was saying, well, everybody thought, they're just going to write me off. I'm just going to ride off into the sunset. But he came back strong, man, big and strong with the Dead Daisies. And it's kind of him saying, I'm back. I'm not dead. I'm not gone. I'm here. And, I've still got damage, to do. So, and the same thing with me, it was, everybody kind of wrote me off too. And here I am. And things are good, man.
I mean, to take two sides of a coin on a song like that too, because it's written about something so personal as your own lives and careers, yet it fits sort of this overall theme. The way it works out right there, and the big sound of the record. I guess it's really cool the way that plays out. The
direction of the record, we definitely wanted to focus on some simple, heavy riffs and stuff because we do a lot of festivals and even in smaller gigs, I mean, it's just the simple riffs really hook people. So stuff like Rise Up was just, it's just right away easy to catch, Yeah.
I don't know if you can speak to the lyrics on that one, too. I mean, it's said that this is sort of a protest song, right?
That's something that I think John mentioned, but to me, it's the feeling in the morning when you wake up. Yeah. Morning wood, rise up, get up, get some coffee, and go kick ass, man. That's what it's about. Go, rise up and kick ass today and do something positive. That's the way I read into it.
Yeah, I'm the same way with that thing. It's like, there's so much stuff going on in the world today. Whatever political views you have or religious views you have. I mean, there's so much divisiveness. Everybody's so this or this, and for I think what John was trying to convey was, hey, we need to come together and speak as one. And try to make change in the world as one people instead of, factions and, that kind of thing. It was really cool.
I need to ask, though, with as many different acts as you all have been a part of, just the two of you, Whitesnake, Dio, Bad English, Journey, just all of these bands, you've got to tell me that there are some great war stories that you guys get to trade, when the lights are off.
Totally. There's tons of them, man. I mean, I'll tell you a funny story that was, I actually did at one point. I was in Dio for a while and got comfortable. And Ronnie used to always put his clothes up to dry and stuff. And one night we were on the bus partying, and I told him, I go, Ronnie, I'll bet you, man, I could fit in those pants. And he goes, nope, couldn't do it. And I did. I tried them on, and we had a picture of it. It was funny.
I got a good story. When I was in Bad English, we're sitting in a plane, and John Waite bet me $100 to crawl up on the plane into first class and beg for peanuts. And I did it. And he paid me. It was awesome.
Did you get the peanuts?
I did.
Yeah.
And, that was before 9/11 and all that stuff, so I think they were a little bit more lax with, who we were and stuff. But, yeah, nowadays that would not fly.
There's so many stories. Every day there's something that happens with these guys, with these bands. I mean, Deen and I are pretty mellow in terms of that stuff, but, like, one time with Whitesnake, David, he had his assistant set up his room and get all the tapestries on the walls in his room. Every day there'd be, his room's decorated and there'd be candles everywhere. And they went out shopping, he and his assistant, and the band rolls up and we get in the hotel and just got my bags in the room, and all of a sudden the fire alarm goes off. And we're waiting out front. The fire company comes and, puts out the fire, and David comes walking, what's all this then? Which one of my three chord wonders started this fire? And it was like, dude, it was your room that was on fire. You did, and one of the candles melted the toilet, and the toilet exploded, and that's what happened. But David, of course, he thought it was one of us.
Oh, I got a fire one story. I got a fire one too. When I was with Ozzy, Motorhead was on the road with us, and sure enough, it was Lemmy that pulled it at like 5 a.m. Pulled the thing. Everybody in Europe, everybody's coming out, and there's Lemmy and Mickey D, and they're all just sitting there, and they're just like, wow, man, who did this? And Lemmy just, kind of standing there with a grin on his face. Well, we all knew it was him. It was great. I don't think Ozzy left, though. He stayed in the room.
That reminds me, Ozzy is the famous one that used to shave one eyebrow off people.
Yeah.
And one of our crew guys was in Japan hanging out with the Japanese crew, and they were all getting really drunk. And the Japanese crew heard a story about that Ozzy shaved the keyboard player's one of his eyebrows off, and he wanted to go to the bathroom on the bus, and he's like, what happened? So these guys, one of their friends showed up late, and they made him power drink, and he passed out, and then all of a sudden it was like, who's got a razor? They did it.
Take the other one off.
So Ozzy was famous for that.
Yeah, who's going to bring that one on tour? You gonna bring that onto this tour?
I think I'm probably going to be the one that's going to be hazed because I'm the new guy.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'll have no eyebrows, half a beard. I don't know. Maybe they'll write stuff on my forehead that can never come off. I have no clue yet.
Well, I'm excited to hear if all that happens. Good luck on the tour out there. I see you're going to be all over the world on this thing. It looks like it's a pretty awesome year for you guys lined up. So.
We're going to be really busy. We're very excited, and we really appreciate the support for the band. And Burn It Down is going to, be fun to play, and we want people to come out and see us. We got some U.S. dates in what?
Yep. August 15th we start, and I think we end around the 26th of September in Los Angeles.
So check out thedeaddaisies.com and for dates and just keeping up with the band. We're really into the social media thing, so fans can really be a part of it.
Well, Dean, Doug, it's so great talking to you. Thanks so much for taking the time today, and congrats.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it, man. Thanks. Again, thanks for the support, man.
Thank you, brother.
All right, take care.
Bye, brother.
Hey, thanks to Dean and Doug from the Dead Daisies. The new record is called Burn It Down. Don't forget to subscribe to Consequence of Sound's YouTube channel to keep up with your favorite artists and interviews. And head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show every Monday through Thursday from noon to 3 Eastern. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.